Hey guys, today I'm going to talk about ways that I work smarter, not harder as a bookkeeper. And I tried to keep these as new and creative as possible, so hopefully you haven't heard all of these before. Starting out with a method that's kind of trending right now that I have kind of taken to heart, and this is by Ali Abdal. I'll link his video about this. He has a YouTube channel, and this video has more than 2 million views, and this is his Trident method. So Trident meaning 3 parts. So I'll go through each of those 3 parts. So his first part is a year at a glance spreadsheet. So I actually downloaded his spreadsheet and filled it out for myself. I actually am using mine for vacations, but you could also use it for like work goals. So maybe if you're trying to get a certain number of bookkeeping clients, you can be like, by January, I am going to get X amount of clients. Or maybe if you're going through a training, you can be like, March, April, May, these are the tasks I'm doing for my bookkeeper launch studying, and then I'm going to be done by this point. So it might sound a little obvious, but just how he lays it out is like really nice aesthetically, and it does help me have that bird's eye view of the whole year. All right, and the number 2 part of this is plan your ideal week. So he says, create a whole new Google Calendar and plot out what you're doing each block of the day. So every morning from 6 to 8, I'm getting ready, I'm getting my kids off to school, and then this block is my work time. What are some things that I do in my work time? And so then once you have your whole ideal week plotted out, then you can see what free time you have and also what time you're wasting that you could better spend doing something else. So for me in my current life, I feel like my least kind of productive time, well, there might be 2. So one is I pretty much stop working at noon, and then my kids don't get home till like almost 3. So like, what am I doing in those 3 hours? Like, am I being intentional and kind of productive? I do take some rest time, which I think is good, but I don't think I'm using those hours precisely for what I want to be doing. And I've talked about this before. That's why I started my bookkeeping business, because I felt like I analyzed the time that I had free and I wasn't doing anything with this free time. I was watching Netflix like while my daughter napped for like 3 hours in the afternoon. And so just getting an awareness of how you're spending your time is really helpful. So in his viral video, he says there's 112 hours in a week, and so you need to be intentional about how you're spending those. So you might guess with this Trident method, we started with the year and then the week, and now we're going to plan out our ideal day. So he says on the weekend, take a look at your upcoming week and tweak it as you need, which you probably already do. I do that. And then he says you can have 3 quests, he calls them, per day. So that kind of reminded me of like the 3-item to-do list, which I really love and follow, but he actually had them in 3 different categories. So he says do 1 work thing, do 1 health thing, and 1 relationship thing. So I was thinking about this, and that's a really good balance, because I do think some things get forgotten in my life, you know? It's hard to have the perfect balance of, you know, work and fun and family and friends and kids and health. So if you do 1 thing per day for each of those sections, that is a great place to start. My next idea for working smarter, not harder, is utilize your Google Drive effectively. So I am going to go into a screen share for this part, but first I want to let you know my name is Morgan. My website is FinePoints.biz. I have a new free masterclass that's all about how I got my first 3 bookkeeping clients. If you want tips on getting more clients, definitely check that out. And you can consider subscribing to my channel if you want some more bookkeeping videos. All right, so how to use your Google Drive.
Okay, so here's kind of like a simplified version of what I do for my business. So I just have my business name and then in a folder, obviously, and then I have different like categories within there. So first of all, just like any documents that you need for your business. So tax items, and then any to-do lists, so annual tasks that you need to remember, and then like registration stuff. This is helpful because you only need it every so often, so it's helpful to have it kind of filed in a place you remember. And then goals, so just anything that you are doing for your business. And then client folders is a big one that I'm going to go into, but client resources is also helpful. So this is like mostly to do with the onboarding process. So it's a contract. This is just the template. And then I have the individual contracts filed for each person in their folders. Onboarding information is very helpful to have, as well as anything that has to do with interviewing, and then services and pricing. And then some of these items you can find on my website. I'll show you really quick. All right, so this is my website, FinePoints.biz, and right now they're under resources. We might tweak this, how things are organized pretty soon, but under resources, if you scroll down to free downloads, this is, I think, most all of the free downloads that I have like within all my videos. So there's new client interview questions right here. Then there's price increase sample letters. I do not give away a contract that you can use, but in my class, which is right here, Bookkeeper Business Coach, I do give away a contract that you can use for your clients. So basically you get the point within this client resources, anything that you need to onboard clients. And then a link spreadsheet, you may or may not need this. I have found it really helpful in my business just to quickly go to places that I want to remember. And then my team uses it as well, so we can kind of communicate through that. So maybe it's like links to Asana. I'm going to talk about a management program next in this video. But yeah, so links to Asana, or maybe client websites, or just things you forget. You can use bookmarks obviously as well, but I've just been using this, so I thought I'd include that here. And then in client folders, I actually have each of my client names. And then I kind of just throw things in here as I work on them, and then I am able to just have it all in one place. So maybe you want to, put bank statements, that contract I mentioned, maybe interview notes, or just notes that you're going to send them. You could even make this a shared document with your client, and then any notes that you add, you can just always have the same link to this notes document.
All right, my next section is all about how to manage your email inbox effectively. And I know there's a lot of tips and tricks about this out here, but are we doing them all? Are we actually following them? So we hear a lot, ignore your email for most of the day and just pick 1 or 2 times to reply to emails. I think that is great advice for focus. And then let's talk about an inbox 0. Let me know in the comments if you get your inbox down to 0. I do that. And for a while, I kind of thought it was impossible, but now I'm someone who does it. And a few things help me with that. For my personal email, I use Unroll Me. And so that is like an automatic thing that files emails you don't want, unsubscribes you, and then it like rolls up some of your subscriptions that you want to keep, but you don't want in your inbox into one email. So that's a free service. I'll link that in the description box for you guys. I've used it for years and I love it. I could not go back to not having it. And the other thing I just started doing was I created in my Google Calendar a Friday tasks appointment. And then I have certain things I do on Fridays. So one is I prepare my YouTube video for the next week. The next one is I clear off my desktop, not my literal desktop, but my computer desktop. So in the past, my desktop would just fill up and fill up and fill up. And then I would do like a big organized purge like every couple months. But like with anything, it goes quicker if you do it more often. So I'm making that a priority, and then also getting my emails down to 0, or usually it's like down to maybe 5 or so, because I do keep the ones that I'm working on or that need action in there. So usually I have 5 for my work. Usually I have about 5 in there, and then they have stars on them, so I know I need to follow up. And don't be afraid of the archive all button in Gmail. So if you have pages and pages of emails in Gmail, if you select all, then there's like this little notice that pops up and asks you, do you want to select all for all the pages? So like all your whole inbox. So if you click that, you can archive everything. And then really I think if people need something from you, they will follow up. Or, you'll think about it and like, oh yeah, I need to find that email. And then you can go search for it. And the other resource you might never heard about is I will link Miss Freddie, and she has an email inbox. I think it's a course or like a short ebook. And she talks about how she uses multiple inboxes in Gmail to get to that 0 inbox. And she's super organized. She's actually a photo organizer, so I follow her for that, but I'll link her, and then you can just enable multiple inboxes. So then she kind of uses them like large buckets, and then her main inbox is empty, and then she has like all the stuff to follow up on, and then maybe new client stuff to the sides. And then she uses like a color-coded starring system. So definitely check that out if it seems interesting. Next is decide on a project management system. I have a video all about how I use Asana and how you can use it as a bookkeeper to manage your clients. The thumbnail looks like this if you're interested. And literally Asana totally runs my whole business. I rely on it very heavily. I now have a couple team members, and we have like different boards for communicating and organizing different things, different deadlines. And so I love Asana. There's a lot of different workflow tools out there that you can try also. And within that, think about different types of work. So there's some work that's deadline driven and some that is more project based. So project based things, you're probably going to want to spend a little bit of time on that every week. Maybe carve out like 4 hours to work on a special project that is going to be, important in the future. And then you're going to have deadlines from clients too. So in Asana, you can mark down what your deadlines are, and then you can go to the calendar view, which shows, everything on a calendar. You can also use technology to help you avoid distractions. I know that seems counterintuitive, but there are programs like Freedom 2 that help you just turn off different distractions, hide different things, use timers. I think you probably heard a lot of those tips before too, and I've done a few videos on that type of thing. And the next one is to plan a weekly meeting with yourself. So a planning meeting where you can go over your schedule. And I love this one because I think a lot of us like try to do this, but it's not a meeting that we actually schedule on our calendar and we keep and make sure to attend. So obviously this will look different depending on your life and your lifestyle, but get out your calendar. I pair like a written daily calendar with my Google Calendar that has like all my information on it for every member of my family. And then start comparing those. Start writing down things you need to do for the week, things you need to buy for that birthday party, things you need to remember. Block out workout times that you're going to go to the gym, and also make sure to collaborate with other members of your family if applicable. So, do need to loop in your spouse to this meeting. Meal planning during this time is really helpful too, because I know I hate like trying to think of meals all the time. So if I just spend one chunk of time doing that, it's really helpful. And there's a really great podcast episode about this from Red Hot Mindset. I will link that for you guys in the description box as well. And I hope you guys are able to have grace with yourselves within your bookkeeping business, because of course we don't want our work to overtake our life and be so stressful. That's really not the point of work. The point of work usually is to, help you have a better life. So let me know in the comments if you have any other tips that help you work smarter, not harder. And don't forget to subscribe, give this video a thumbs up, and I'll talk to you next week.